Hi everyone.
Hello, good evening.
I'm very happy and excited to welcome our very own Shakura Meddings, to lead this webinar for us. So thank you so much, Shakura, for agreeing.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure. Now I get to see what it feels like this side of the screen.
Yeah, any one of you who's been around New Energy Work almost certainly would have heard from Shakura. She mainly sorts out all the emails and does loads and loads of things for New Energy Work. So you've probably been in contact with her directly. So now it's a chance, not just for you, but also for me to find out a little bit more about Shakura's work, because it's funny, isn't it? You work with people every day. You've had some amazing experiences training with your own master, but it's very rare that we get a chance to actually share the material. So I'm really looking forward to it today. And before we do anything else, I'd just like to ask you a few questions about your background. And here we are. I've got this slide from the intro. This was the slide from the intro we did 2 weeks ago before Nick's webinar. So Shakura is a Shiatsu practitioner, obviously, but she's also a healing Qigong practitioner as well. And you studied for 3 years, isn't that right, Shakura?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, studied 3 years with Master Yu, and yeah, still training, doing sort of ongoing training with him.
So where did you do that? Where did you go for that training?
So what was really super fun was that it was all around the world. So it was an international group.
Yeah.
So we literally had people from around the world studying together. So we had, so sort of to incorporate that, they did the training in different places. So we started off in Cyprus, and then we had the next module in China, and then we finished off in Hawaii, which I think that was my last big trip away. Yeah, so just definitely dreaming about those beaches. But yeah, that was a few years ago. So luckily I got that last module in just before traveling became super difficult.
So easy to forget how we just kind of took it for granted that we could fly anywhere.
Absolutely. So that was a real treat. And the reason it was in Hawaii is because there was a medicineless hospital set up there, and people would go there to have treatments. And we ran our third module alongside a retreat. So people would come, and they would mostly it was people with cancer, with tumors, things like that, but some other sort of major health conditions as well. And we gave them treatments every day for 10 days. So I think we had 1 day break in the middle, but yeah, it was using these methods, and it was just phenomenal. So everybody had to have scans before and after they came to just kind of check in. And I think 99% of symptoms were all lowered. Some tumors had completely disappeared, and most of them had shrunk. So yeah, that was my last experience, which was really fantastic.
Wow, that's amazing. And that was all scanned before and after kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. They'd have their hospital reports before they came, and yeah, we sort of encouraged them to check when they went back, just to sort of mostly just for them to know that it has worked,
Yeah.
And it was all based on all this course was based on principles that they taught at these medicineless hospitals in China, which they've been doing for decades.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So the title of your webinar is Setting Up the Key Field for Shiatsu Practice. So we're going to do some. Well, I'm really looking forward to it, because I'm going to be going to be getting some instruction from you, and going a bit deeper into the whole setting up the key field, the intention, the difference between information and key. I'm really looking forward to that. So let's have a look at the program and see what we've got in store. So what we're going to do is the introduction. I guess we've kind of done that now. We've found a little bit about you. And then you're going to do this exercise with us to actually set up the key field, and we've got a poll for that in a minute.
Yeah.
And then this is what I'm particularly interested in, because this really does resonate very strongly with Pauline Sasaki's work, because she was always talking about using mindset, using key and everything when we're working with Shiatsu. So then we're going to do a self-healing type of treatment that you're going to guide us through, to contrast information and qi. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then to finish off, I think this is what you do, to finish off, you gather the qi in the lower dantian, and that's just what
exactly. Yeah.
And then if we've got time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See how long that takes.
Then you might do an actual demo treatment on me, just like a kind of distance session type of thing, just a very small taster, just so that I can feel the difference. I have actually had a treatment from your colleague, Naima.
Naima, yeah.
Yes, so I know a bit what it's like, and it really was quite an extraordinary experience. It was very powerful, and it hit on very different levels, I felt, So I've got a little bit of a taste, but I don't know too much about what you do. So let's just run the first poll and just find out. Okay, those of you who are watching with me, do you actually have a structured method for setting up the key field before you start doing your treatment, whatever it is, Shiatsu or whatever it is? I'm just going to run the poll and we'll just see whether you don't have one, or you're not sure whether you have one or not. And let's see what we've got. Okay, well, it's a good job we did this webinar, Shakura, because we've got less than half saying yes, and the majority saying they don't have a specific method, and 70% are not sure. So I have to say that I have my own sort of alignment thing, but I don't think it's really anything like what you do, which is much more specific, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very specific, and you can use it for anything. It's very much the sort of thing that you would do to start your day, or if you've got a big project, or if you're going on a drive. It's sort of you set sort of setting, sort of preparing yourself for those sort of things.
Oh, so do you do that yourself? You don't use it just for when you're doing shiatsu treatments or healing treatments?
No, exactly. Yeah, no, I use it pretty much. I'll start the day with it. And then also I will use it if if something comes up in the day, or if things aren't going well, I'll be like, let me step back and sort of reset things. I use it a lot.
Oh, really? It's interesting, isn't it?
If I'm looking after children and if things aren't going well, or if they're crying, I will use this method, and it really calms them down.
All right. Okay, great. So it's a life skill. It's more than just a treatment thing then.
No, it's definitely something I lean into quite a lot.
And the idea is there's a key field around the body. It's a bit like the auric field, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And I suppose the basis of it is the fact that everything is connected in the universe through the key field. That's the idea of it.
Yeah. So everything's connected. Everything's one.
And you have to use the dantians a lot as well to focus your awareness on different parts of the energy field?
Absolutely. So with the lower dantian, that's like we know that's sort of related to our physical energy. So that's why at the end of doing any treatment or end of just setting up this chi field, I will always, gather the chi back in and make sure that it's all absorbed and into my lower dantian. So then you just know that on a physical level, you're strong. Mm-hmm. And then with the middle dantian, that's really related to the emotions, and relates to, in turn, sort of related to the organs and the hormone system. So it's all about, it really helps balance those out whenever I sort of work with the middle dantian. And then the upper dantian, sort of just here in the middle, it's all to do with the mental field. So this is what I'd use, like we were talking about sending information. So this is where I would use this sort of area to send clear information and sort of orders to the body and to the chi field.
Okay, cool. And we're going to get onto that with another exercise later on. So would you mind sharing it with us? I'd really like you to just
absolutely.
And then maybe everyone at home can join in, and we can get some feedback from the chat and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got my space ready for me here. So is it best to stand up, do you think? Or
whatever. So what I love about this, you can sit down, you can stand up, you can lie down, whatever position you're in,
Lying down is tempting, but I'd probably go off camera.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to stand up.
Yeah.
And then if you just like to direct us, and I'll just see.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So the thing about setting your chi field, the first thing to do is to make an intention for what you'd like. So if it was because you're doing a treatment, or if you're about to do something, or if you've got a big project, or if you're about to host a webinar, you set your intention.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's really important to have your posture. So we want the energy pathways to be flowing smoothly and abundantly. So however everybody is, if they're sitting, or if they're lying, or if they're standing, it's very important that you lift this top point up by way, top point of your head, lifting it up towards the heavens, and then tucking in the chin slightly, and then having space down the vertebrae, tucking in the sacrum slightly. We have this point around the perineum porhulian. We just have this slightly closed, and then having the hips, the knees and the ankles relaxed. And if you just open your eyes and look out into the distance, into the horizon, and then you're going to that dot in the horizon, if you imagine it coming closer and closer to you, and behind the eyes and closing your eyes, in the space in the upper dantian, the middle of your mind. Imagine this space becoming light and bright. Really enjoying this feeling of space. And this light travels down the vertebrae, down the spinal cord, this midline, connecting to your lower dantian. Your lower dantian is feeling bright and light. And then you imagine this light going up and down your spine, the lower to the middle to the upper dantians, and back down. And you imagine this light expanding out, merging with your body's chi field, merging with your organs, the bones, your musculoskeletal system, going out even further to the space that's all around you, so up to 1 meter around you, the left to the right, in front and behind, above and below. This bright light connecting your dantians, expanding out, merging with your body's chi field. The body feels light, expansive. And then expand out even further. And merge your body's chi field with the chi field of your local area. So imagine your body's chi field connecting to all of nature that's around you. The chi field of nature, the earth and the sky, all of the animals. connecting to wherever you are, your home, wherever you happen to be. I'm going to take it out even further, connecting with your country's chi field. The mountains and the lakes, trees, all of nature. Knowing that nature has abundant chi and there's abundant chi all around you. And taking this out even further, connecting with your continent, merging your chi field, all the countries around you. And even further, connecting with the whole of the world. All our chi fields are merging, whichever part of the world that we are. Creating one group chi field. Feeling this abundant chi, this powerful chi field that we're a part of. And taking it out even further. Out into the universe. Out into the void. And in this space, anything is possible. Whatever your intention is, it's as if it's already happened. It's already successful. In this space, there's infinite possibilities. An abundant chi. Our bodies are feeling incredibly light and open, as if there was nothing there, as if we are nothing. Connecting out to this void. Connecting with our intention. And saying thank you as if it's already happened. And we're going to gather this chi that's we're connected to out in the universe and bringing it back into our group chi field, connecting with the whole world. And drawing it in even closer to us, connecting back to our continent, and even closer, drawing it in, connecting to your country. And then even closer, connecting to, drawing your chi field in to your local area chi field. And then even closer, bringing all this abundant chi into your body's chi field, that's 1 meter around you. Feeling your whole body nourished. Blood and chi is flowing abundantly through your whole body. And finishing by placing your hands over your navel, over your lower dantian. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. So that's how I set the chi field.
Right.
But I'll often do that a few times. So I'll go out and in a few times. So by then, you definitely do feel like there's sort of nothing in your body, that you're completely connected. And that's a really powerful sort of self-healing technique if there's anything going on in your body, because if there's any areas that need chi, when you bring it back in, you really absorb it into those areas. But also when you're going out into the void, if there's any areas in your body where you have too much, so say there's a tumor or a cyst, something like that, they just, that's often seen as sort of, chi getting stuck, or there's too much there.
Yes.
So we just imagine that dispersing out into the universe.
Wow. Okay. I've got a poll.
Yeah, great.
Ready, to find out how everyone got on with it. I mean, but I have to say, from personal experience, it was that moment when we went beyond the continents into the whole world. Suddenly, I felt like I was doing it up until that point. I was expanding it out. And then at that point, it kind of switched around. It's like it was almost flowing into me rather than the energy was flowing into me rather than me sort of going out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then when you went to the universe, then I definitely started to get that feeling on and off of just being like completely not knowing, like kind of, I don't know, just connected to the void, where you're not differentiated with the void.
Absolutely, yeah. And it often feels like that's sort of like where the magic happens.
Yes. Okay, so we've got a poll, haven't we? Let's have a look. Yeah. So this is the exercise we just did: clear intention, body posture, adjusting the mind, gathering, absorbing the key of nature. Oh no, this is setting up the key field. And I think we've got a poll. Here we are. Yeah. When we set up the key field, did you feel oneness and connection with the universal key at any point? So let's see what kind of response we got for that. Look, so far most people did. I guess it takes a lot of practice, doesn't it? I guess it's one of those things that you just need to keep practicing.
Absolutely. And we did a very short exercise. Like, you can do this, you could usually, if you wanted to do this for yourself, you can take up to like half an hour.
Oh, really? Right.
Just doing this, as like a meditation for oneself, and like we know, every time you do it, you generally feel a bit closer to where you want to be.
Yeah. Brilliant. Let's just have a quick look in the chat and just see what responses we've got. All right. Rachel said the tension in her back went. Headache's gone. There we are. We've got quite a few questions. Let's just have a look and see what questions we've got. Would you like some questions?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop sharing the slides and we just get you in. Okay, Karen just said she had trouble hearing what you were saying. So
yeah, sorry about that. I saw that flag up. So hopefully you heard the rest of it. I tried to. Yeah, that's fine. Speak a bit louder.
Okay, right, there we go. Look, here we go. Peter asks, I have issues with taking up the energy of people I treat. That's like, actually, that's a somatic empathy thing as well, isn't it? So you would check out Cindy Engel's webinar. You think, what he's asking is, would setting up the key field beforehand protect me from this?
So I find that it really does. And then because, but I find that also when you do it at the end as well, yes, it's really great, because when you're going out into the void, you're completely clearing everything. Yeah. And like we'll do at the end, we join our chi fields, but then we have a very distinct moment where we separate them and we sort of let all the chi be absorbed back into their bodies. And then we use this abundant chi that's all around us to absorb back into our own lower dantian. So after we've done a treatment, like you should feel stronger, you should feel more powerful, more sort of healthier. So hopefully this does help you as well.
Brilliant. Okay. Look, this is Karen's got an interesting question here, which is, what if pain comes up when you're expanding out? It seems to be located at a certain level of expansion. That was interesting. She actually found pain. Does that happen?
Yeah, I wonder whereabouts she felt it. But it's like at different levels, it's like we're connecting to different levels of ourselves. Mm-hmm. So that, I completely understand if that would happen. But it'd be interesting to know if that changed at all as we came back in.
There seems to be a lot of comments in the chat saying exactly that, and maybe that's a good time for us to move on to the next exercise and go a little bit deeper into that, because the next exercise involves doing the treatment, doesn't it?
So that's interesting, Karen. So that it did get better on contraction. So
okay, great.
Yeah, I was going to mention something about that later, about the contraction and expansion, but I think that's a later slide, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so we've run the second poll. So now we've got another exercise, which is reorganizing the key field. So this is a very central part. I think you've mentioned this before, this idea of basically disease is making a distinction between the fact that we carry things from the past, and that what we're doing is we're restructuring the information we have about ourselves, something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So just like we all know, the mind is a very powerful tool. And the idea is that sort of how our body is today, like everything that's happening in our body, it's actually made up of our past intentions. So it's how we've lived our life up until this point. So how our body is at the moment, that is the past. But when you set your intention if you change your intention, then that is, you can actually sort of reorganize things, actually change how your body is or how the thoughts you think. So it's all about, we have our natural way of doing things. So we talk about sort of the blueprint for our life. Okay. And obviously that is very much affected by sort of the upbringing we've had, or the words that we heard, all this sort of stuff. So how we think about life or how we think about ourselves that's our blueprint. But often when people become unwell, it's because that blueprint's not working. It's basically, if you just imagine like if you're driving a car, but if you're living in the past, it's like you're driving a car, but you're looking backwards, you're looking behind you. So of course you're going to crash. So the idea is that you set your intention and have a very clear vision for how you'd like your future to be. And like we were saying about sort of going into the void, acting as if it's already happened. So as soon as you make your intention, you act like you start living it straight away.
I found that very powerful actually when I was doing it, when you mentioned that in the exercise, those words, as if it's already happened, it kind of set it in a more concrete way, rather than just being an idea of the future. It actually kind of more concrete.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Exercise number 2. The time is flying past, as it always does on these webinars. So we've got a whole exercise here. We're going to do a body scan, find an area of obstruction in our body, connect with the key field, and we're going to send key and then find out what that's like. And then we're going to use the intention and we're going to try and contrast it. Is that the idea of this exercise?
Absolutely, yeah. So the idea is that when we're using sort of setting the chi field, is that we really imagine that around you and your client, there is just like this abundant chi, like you're bringing so much chi, you bring it in from all of nature, all of the universe is just really coming into your room, your treatment room, or whatever space you're in. And so the chi is abundant. And then we're just going to do this exercise to see what it's like when you're sending the chi to places. But then, this whole idea of like changing the blueprint is about sending information. So it's almost like sending orders to the body.
Okay.
So you're imagining what it would or how you would like it to look, and you're sending that information.
Right, okay. So shall we draw a picture of our bodies?
Yeah, that'd be useful, yeah.
Okay, so basically, do you want to talk me through it again? Talk everyone through it?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, it's actually half past already, Shakura, so we better make sure that we don't go too far out to the universe. Otherwise, we'll never make it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to just close up the slides, and I'll take my... Oh, here we go. All right.
So we're going to do this on ourselves, because, and if you have somebody with you, you can use them, but I think the quite interesting exercise to do it with ourselves. Mm-hmm. So again, we're just going to do the body scan to begin with, just to find some areas that you might want to work with today. So closing your eyes and just starting from the top of your head, just scanning down as if you are having a taking a picture of the body. Notice any areas that feel obstructed or painful, or any areas that might feel a bit weak or lacking, or like they need more nourishment. So once you've done that, just make a little note.
I'm just going to draw a picture of myself. Okay, got it.
Great. So now we're going to imagine this abundant chi that's all around us. We've created this powerful chi field. And if there's an area in your body that feels like it's lacking or it's a bit weak, we're just going to imagine this chi circling around us, anti-clockwise, all around us.
Do you mean right around our body like this?
Exactly, yeah.
Round, like a sort of swirl?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to have this energy swirling around and coming in and sending that chi to your part of your body that needs it.
And we're using that image we had before of that universal chi, right, around us.
Exactly.
It's quite a big swirl, is it?
It is, yeah.
Really big, I see, yeah, okay. Okay, I've got it, yeah.
Yeah, everybody got that?
Yeah.
Sending that chi in. Feeling really nourished.
And you can make the swirl bigger as well, can't you? If you expand your awareness out like we did before.
Absolutely,
you kind of make it stronger, can't you?
Yeah, and just knowing that there is abundant chi, so you can have as much of it as you need or want.
Okay, yeah.
And again, if you want to make a note of how that felt, do a quick body scan, see if there's any difference in your body. And now we're going to connect in with your upper dantian. So this space in your upper dantian that we took that bright light to begin with, it's connected to all of chi in the universe. And we're going to choose a place in your body where you would like to send some good information to, some healing. Imagine this perfect healing intention being sent to this one part in your body. You can imagine what you'd like it to look like. What is it like when all the functions are normal? What is the structure like? What is this perfect blueprint of this part in your body? Just see it as if it's a picture. You're going to send this order or this intention to that part of your body as if it's already happened, as if that is exactly what it looks like. Taking another moment or two. Finish. When you're ready, opening your eyes. And again, you can make a note of how it felt, or you can put in the chat if anybody had any feedback from that exercise.
We've got a poll, I think, haven't we? Just to get a general view of, yeah, that's right. I mean, that was quite extraordinary. I was very different from what I imagined it was going to happen, because I thought what I was going to do is I was going to use my own chi and then my own intention, but it wasn't like that at all. It was taking that swirling thing was a great idea.
Yeah, it's a great meditation, yeah.
It creates a movement, doesn't it? An actual direction with it.
Yeah.
And I felt, because I've got this shoulder injury at the moment, and I could just feel, and it was quite a physical sensation of someone, almost like a whole universe swirling around and sort of touching me, something.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting because the intention thing, again, it was very different from what I thought, because I thought it would be like just sending healing intention, but it's not like that really at all. It's much more specific, isn't it? It's
absolutely, yes. I don't know if people are sort of know about Dr. Joe Dispenza. His work is very similar in the way that you have to really sort of like visualize exactly what you want from your life, or for what your body parts should look like.
Yes, it could be anything. But you just have to imagine what it's like in a perfect state, kind of.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it was interesting because it was such a different experience. It was much more kind of like, it was very specific and structured, but it was structured in a different way from the swirling thing coming in.
Yeah.
So I just want to be interested to know if anyone else had this, or how many people had a similar thing. So let's just run this poll, and we'll just see how many of you felt the same thing. So when you in the exercise, did you feel a difference between sending ki and sending information? I'm just going to run that poll, and we'll just see how many people did feel a difference in that. I thought it was really quite a dramatic thing for me anyway. And interesting thing was it was almost like it wasn't me that was sending the ki, it was the universe. I was like, better to say that a difference between receiving ki from the universe and imagining or creating the information that you wanted to happen, So then we've got 72%, quite a big majority of people who are watching, who are involved, who are not just watching, who are doing the exercises, found that they did feel a difference in that. So that's great. So I'll just have a quick look in the chat and just see if there's anything. Looks like Dinah's doing an amazing job looking after the chat. Well done. Oh, there's all kinds of things happening. That's really amazing. Okay, cool. Okay, so now let's see, where are we doing? We've got 20 minutes left. Let's see what we've got next on the slides. Okay, so this is just wanted to just say a little bit about intention, about this setting up the mind. It can be used in different ways, can't it? Like, it's not just a case of just removing of structures or just kind of like getting rid of blockages or anything like that. It's quite universal in how you can use it.
Absolutely. So sort of when we are, in the treatment, it's it's we're sort of like thinking the contractive sort of state can really help sort of build structure, or it can be supportive, so sort of broken bones or prolapse, things like that. That's when you want more of a sort of contracted, you imagine energy sort of contracting and building in those areas.
I see.
And then you really have this sort of like expansion sort of for areas that need dispersing, things that need dissolving, so tumors, cysts, things like that, that you need to imagine to be released out into the universe. So it's like any areas that need it, you imagine that chi being really absorbed into the area. And Master Lu sort of talks about chi in the way that it's never good or bad, but some areas just have too much, so he said, if there is a tumor or something like that, you just imagine that energy, that's going to be useful for something else, so you just send that back out into the universe. So it's more like you're giving a gift, so it's like if you don't want if you have too many clothes, you can just wrap them up beautifully and pass them on. And it's a bit like that, it's not like you don't ever think about it as like bad chi.
Right. Okay, brilliant. So let's see what we've got next. Okay, so now the third and final exercise is this gathering the chi or the ki in the lower dantian. And as the graphic shows, this is something that goes across a lot of different traditions, including meditation and all kinds of things, doesn't it? What's really the function of this? Is it because you want to basically pull everything back in together after you've been out there in the...
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, that's quite, being connected out. You don't really want to walk around like that. It's a bit spacey. So the idea is that you're using all this chi that you've been connected to and nourishing your body. So it's really about building your sort of physical strength. And obviously, I remember when I was studying Shiatsu, I remember it came up that Qigong is the only thing that can prolong your life. I remember somebody saying that. So it's basically like using these energy exercises to really support your life, your life's chi. So
yes. I suppose it's the Jing as well, isn't it? Because the Jing
exactly. Yeah, it really is. It's about, and sort of that question came up earlier. It's all about, after you've done a treatment, is that, you use that abundant chi that's swirling around to also nourish yourself.
Okay, that sounds good. And I'd like some of that.
Yes.
So could you sort of maybe do like a 5-minute exercise just demonstrating that? Take us
absolutely.
out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That would be so great.
So it's sort of, a nourishing practice.
So do you do this? You do this at the end of a treatment, or do you do this at the end of the setting up your chi field as well? Then?
Yeah. So at the end of setting up chi field, once I've set the intention, I'll always finish with bringing my hands over my lower dantian and absorbing it in, and then also when I do a treatment.
Do you think we could maybe fit it together? So maybe just review the swirling thing.
Yes. Yeah. No, I was going to do that. Yeah.
Then we'll pull it back, so we put it all together, kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So again, I'm just going to connect with your intention. Nourish your body on every level. And just check in with your posture, lifting up the top point of your head, tucking in your chin, tucking in your coccyx slightly, relaxing your hips, knees and ankles. Doing some relaxed breaths. Connecting to this point behind your eyes, middle of your mind. It's bright light. Bring that bright light down, connecting into your lower dantian. Feeling that energy, that light, moving up and down smoothly.
Just speak up a bit, Shakura.
Yeah.
Lose you.
And expanding this light out, merging with your body chi field. And again, taking it out even further to connect with the local area chi field, all of nature, the sky above you and the earth below. Taking out even further, connecting with your country's chi field. And even further, connecting with your continent. And connecting out all our body chi fields are merging, creating one powerful group chi field. Feeling nourished by this nature's chi that's all around us. And connecting out even further, out into the universe, into this void, where anything is possible. Connecting with your intention, as if it's already happened, as if it's already successful. Whatever your intention is. Changing the direction of your life, changing your blueprint. Knowing that anything is possible. Connecting with this abundant chi that's all around you. And drawing this chi, this positive, abundant chi, drawing it in, connecting to chi field of the world, of our one group chi field, feeling completely at one. Coming into your continent's chi field, into bringing it in to your country's chi field, to your local area chi field, and drawing it into your local area chi field. Into the space that surrounds you, into the room that you're in. Imagine this chi is swirling around anti-clockwise. Separating yourself from the group chi field, coming into your own body chi field. And then we're going to absorb this chi into your lower dantian. So placing your hands over your lower dantian, absorbing it from the right hand side, on the left hand side, packing it away in your lower dantian, on the front of you, from behind you, from above you and below you. Packing it away behind your hands, and nourishing your lower dantian. Chi and blood is flowing abundantly and smoothly throughout your whole body. All your body functions are returning to normal, normal, normal. When you're ready, opening your eyes, placing your hands by your side.
Okay, wow. So when you bring it in, you imagine it like literally coming in from the vast chi field. You bring it in and it kind of condenses as it comes in. Is that what happens?
Exactly, yeah.
And then you bring it into the room, then you into your own individual field.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're kind of keeping your awareness also out, aren't you? So you're not isolating yourself, because I think there's a tendency, I find that sometimes when I come in, I sort of isolate myself and I lose that connection with the universal field. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, so it's, it's very much about bringing in and nourishing yourself, but yeah, you're still, part of everything. Yeah.
I love the swirling. I love the swirling. I've never done that before. That's so great. Yeah. It makes it a kind of three-dimensional movement, which I find really, really useful. Okay, brilliant. So let's quickly we've only got 10 minutes left.
I was going to say, yeah, that was a very quick. Usually we spend much more time doing these exercises, but it's a bit of a whistle-stop tour.
Yeah, but actually it was okay because we did it already before, so we're kind of familiar with getting out there, weren't we? So let's just run that last poll that we've got and find out, could you feel the chi gathering in the lower dantian when we did that final exercise? So let's see. Okay, most people could. 90% of the people who are responding could, so that's absolutely great. Let's just have a quick look at the slides. We've only got 10 minutes left now. So we've just done that poll, and what have we got? 88%. So I think we can call that a success. Presumably, just like anything else, it takes practice to do, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay,
we've got 10 minutes or 9 minutes left. Would you like to just, I'd be really fascinated for you to just do like a very short distance, a little snippet of session on me. If you could work my shoulder, I'd love that. And maybe do you think you could just do like a couple of minutes using chi and then a couple of minutes using information?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And maybe you could just talk through what you're doing, and then would you like, is it okay if I stand up?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Because that would be fascinating for me, because I felt it doing it myself. So it'd be great to see if what it'd be like someone else is doing it. And presumably you apply that into your shiatsu technique when you're working on people, when you're working.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'll either use chi or use information. But I also use this thing of like connecting into that space behind their mind, that the upper dantian, so connecting with on the mental level.
All right, okay, great. Okay, I'll just stand up then.
Yes. So a very brief treatment. Mm-hmm. But what I do to start with is connecting in with my body chi field. Expanding out. Connecting with Cliff's chi field. An open heart and an open mind, as if we were one. And then I'll set the chi field by going out, merging our chi fields with the local area chi field. And just like we did earlier, I'd keep going out into the void. Feeling the abundant chi that's all around us, knowing that we are supported in this. And there's always enough chi. I'll bring this chi in to help support the treatment. So even if I was just sending information, always bring this chi, this abundant chi into the treatment room. It's all available to us. Doing a body scan. And yep, I can feel that shoulder. So the first thing I'm going to do is send chi to the area So just using this chi that's all around us. So imagining the area being nourished. The channels are all blocking. And then to help move this obstruction, I'm going to imagine chi going either side of his shoulder. So as if it's going through the shoulder. So I'll often have my hands like this. And I'll imagine his shoulders in between my hands. And I'll go from one hand to the other, left hand to right hand. Abundant chi. And actually I'm expanding it out from having both his shoulders in between my hands. So I'm moving the chi from one shoulder to the other shoulder. And this is helping actually with removing the obstruction. I'm just imagining that chi is moving smoothly. Nourishing his blood. And actually just taking out this to encompass his whole body, because actually I think there's quite a bit of shock in there from when Cliff had the injury. So just doing this expansion and contraction technique just to allow any stuck shock to be released. Like I said earlier, it's not bad chi, it just needs to be released. Something else, someone else, nature. I'll be very content and happy with this chi. So I'll send it out. And I'll gather chi in, and I'll really just imagine his whole body being nourished. Starting from the top of his head, nourishing his brain and his spinal cord, his central nervous system. Really sending chi all the way down through his body, nourishing all his organs, just checking through the organs. And I'm just imagining this swirling chi is going around each of the organs. And like we know, each of the organs has its own chi field, so just nourishing each of the chi fields. Spending special attention to this lower dantian area, the organs there, down his legs. Good. And then just imagine this chi swirling around his whole body. And now I'm just going to, in the final few minutes, use this other technique of sending information. So I'm going to connect the space behind my eyes, connecting with the space behind Cliff's eyes, this upper dantian area. And we use this to send the information that his shoulder is perfect. All the functions are normal. I'm going to have a picture in my mind of exactly what I want it to look like. And I'm going to just keep sending those orders, that information. So probably Cliff isn't feeling that swirling motion anymore. And it's probably just feeling just like a bit calmer. And because we're running out of time, I'm going to finish there. And if Cliff, you place your hands over your dantian.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. That was just so interesting. And do you know what? It's really, really exciting. And it's really inspired me to try that out in my shiatsu treatments, switching between using chi, using universal. It's very similar to what Pauline Sasaki talked about. I don't think I've ever had such a clear delineation, such clear examples of switching between the two. I really want to thank you, Shakura. I can't believe
it's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
We work together pretty much every day for years, and we need to put on a webinar before we find out exactly what
exactly.
It's just exactly. Funny. Thank you so much. And we're just going to finish up now. I'm just going to let you know what's happening next week. So that's obviously these slides will be up on the online course, so you can check in and see the video. Organising the chi field. I think it was great the way you went into my third eye and kind of used that information. That was, again, I wasn't expecting that. Lots of unexpected things happened. But there we are. We've had the introduction, setting up the chi field, self-healing techniques, gathering the chi, and a demo treatment. We managed to get it through just pretty much in an hour. Next week, just about did it in an hour. Next week, Alice Wilden will be here. She'll actually be physically in this room. She's living nearby, and she's going to come in. We're going to do tests and everything, so we don't have to wear masks. I'm going to do tests on the day. And it'd be just great to work with her. So don't miss next week. Tell all your friends. And what an amazing hour we've spent with you, Shakura. I really, really appreciate it.
It's such a pleasure. If anybody has any questions, feel free to email admin@newenergywork.com and I can answer them there.
Great. And also, of course, you can go onto the online course and put them on the forum as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Good idea.
And you've got lots and lots of hearts there. Everyone really enjoyed it. So it's time to go.
Thank you. Thanks, Cliff.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody, for coming.